What is up, everybody? It is Alex from Heavy New York calling from Zoom again, and this time we are here with Chris and Chris of Half Me. Thank you both so much for being here. It's great to have you here.
Hey, what's up? Thanks for having us.
Yeah,
Hey
any
man, thank you for having us.
anytime, man. Anytime. It's so great to have you here. Your newest album, Soma, is absolutely kick-ass. I can't wait for the rest of the world to hear it. For people who haven't heard this album yet, do you feel that the first four singles that we heard, such as Trauma Culture, Blacklight, etc., is a good representation of what this whole album will sound like, or is that just scratching the surface of what's to come?
It
Oh,
definitely sets the scope, I guess.
yeah, I think that's the best way to describe it. It's like it goes from the most heavy to the most emotional song. So it has like everything that the album has left in.
Mhm.
So yeah,
Was there sort of like a preconceived vision of what you wanted Soma to sound like, or was this a very experimental and improvisational process?
I think content-wise and what the songs are about was conceptual and thought about. Songwriting wise, it was more like just the way we like it. It's not like we wanted to have this album sound kind of this way. It's just like this kind of music just is in our blood, and we love to write it. So there's nothing really pragmatic about it. It's just what we think is it's the best we can do. So yeah.
In terms of because I feel like there's so many different elements from hardcore to post, like many different styles within this album. Is it make it a little bit easier to sort of experiment and to sort of try new things with the songwriting process?
I think we never wanted to have like a sort of dogma or stigma to our sound. We, if someone asks us which genre we are, it's always kind of difficult to determine kind of where we come from. I mean, it's mostly metalcore, but we like to implement like EDM stuff or like things from hardcore, and yeah, it's kind of just experimenting with different stuff, with every single trying new things and just pushing the limits we have. So yeah.
You mentioned that there is like lyrical content that was sort of like a preconceived vision, and this sort of a like if you would call Soma in a way like a concept album or whatnot. How would you say that altered the music as much as the lyrics itself?
So I think like when we wrote the album, like the lyrics came hand in hand with the whole songwriting process. So there were a couple songs that we finished, and then we've got lyrics added to them. So it wasn't like this part came first and then the other part came into it. It's like for us it happened really organic. So it has like you said, it has like a loose concept based around it, but it's basically just loosely telling a story with like different perspectives on different topics. So it didn't really like it definitely like influenced some of the stuff that we have now on the final songs, but like different elements. Just when we heard the first mixes, we were like, yeah, let's change this one a bit or that one a bit, because just the way the lyrics are in certain songs, it would fit better, or like they would fit better into a different kind of song, like a different kind of vibe for that part, for example,
Hmm. Would you say that
So
maybe?
that's kind of where we went.
Would you say because like it has a story and it's being told from different perspectives, is that why maybe there's many different sounds? Could like maybe this sort of like EDM sound that's incorporated on here versus your most aggressive song, is that being told from like a different point of view?
Yeah, for example, yeah, like different elements resonate with the meaning of different songs, I guess.
For example, after Ex Negative, our last single, we have like an interlude that um, sound-wise tries to illustrate the feeling we want to have with the song, like that goes down like in a rabbit hole or like a down the drain kind of vibe. And there are a lot of segments we try to emphasize with sounds where we wanted to have a certain feeling to it.
Do you feel that when you guys are performing this music, or even when you're writing it, you're almost kind of like, in a way, portraying these individuals? Like, are they meant to be kind of like metaphors for who you personally are, or are you just kind of like letting the album speak for itself, and you guys are more or less kind of like the narrators?
I think
yeah.
yeah, I think we don't want to stand there and tell, like, or say that those perspectives are our perspectives. We have certain contact points with the topics that are in the songs, but we try to have a distance to it and try to just illustrate the topic of the song, not as like our own stories, but rather than just looking on it and having not an opinion, but a certain point of view to it. It's not like that we are the individual that's telling the story of the song.
And also, I think like when we're performing the songs live, we're like literally just the performers. I think the album and the sound stands for itself a lot. I mean, we try to embed the whole narrative into the live set as well, but it's not like it's a live role play or something. So we're still like just a band that likes breakdowns, I guess.
So it's fair to say that album is very open to interpretation. A listener can make up any story if they want from hearing this.
For sure, like I said, it's like loosely based on a story that is told, and it like the album starts with kind of like the infection of the mind, and it kind of closes with the acceptance of this, whatever it is, like, and whatever it is, it's kind of like up to you. Like when we wrote the lyrics, it was like we've had a certain idea in mind, but it's not like it's pretty open for interpretation. And I also like writing lyrics like this because it's just to me it speaks more to me.
And you led me perfectly into the next question, because it has, through any song on Somo, is there any song that is more personal and has nothing to do with this story, or did you kind of want to maybe have this album more focused on one specific idea?
So I think like a lot of topics the album touches, like if you try and look at a certain topic, then I guess you could say that it's like really on a kind of like a grayscale. So it's not like black and white. So you can't really say, like, for example, the OLD, obsessive love disorder. Like we've all felt a certain way when loving someone, but are we obsessed with someone? It's hard to tell if it's yes or no. So it's not like like a lot of the topics resonate with me and with us personally, but it's always to a certain degree. It's not like Chris said earlier, it's not like it's not like it's a super personal album, but it definitely touches personal topics to a certain degree.
When it comes to now playing this album live, if you're going to shuffle it around the set list, so if you maybe start off with Trauma Culture, but then you go into Proxy, and then you go into Zenith, and then you go into Blacklight, and then Outbreak, so, shuffle the set list. Do you think that brings maybe a whole new meaning to it, or maybe alters the sort of story in a way? Or is your intention to just start this album off with Wrath and end with end with Half Me?
I think to a certain degree, those songs are written to be seen as stories in itself. I mean, we have Wraith and the last song that depict like a feeling of, okay, there's something coming to me and it's something infecting me. and half me is like, okay, there's something in me that I can accept as a disease or something, but all the other songs don't have like a certain root to it. It's just like short stories or topics that differ from each other that are illustrated. So I think for live, it doesn't make any difference to the narrative we have with the songs. It's just the set list is just built to have a push and pull and to have heavy breakdowns in certain moments and to just kick us live.
Yeah.
And when it comes to the songwriting all together as a band, is it really better if everybody is sort of like on the same page when it comes to songwriting and is really like kind of feeling the same way, or could different opinions and different emotions and different ideas maybe actually help add contrast to the band? You have a lot of different elements that are incorporated. I can't imagine that they're all coming from one person, right?
Yeah, I think we all have different kind of ideas how we should sound like, but we all have a common ground where this lands. So we have different genres in the band that are heard, and we have different styles of playing and writing. And I mean, I'm the main writer, but we still not argue, but try to fit in every kind of mood and every kind of direction we have in the band into one song and really work it out. But sometimes it's better it's just one person just writing it and everyone agrees on it. But I think that's kind of the struggle we love to do. So
yeah, that happens too, though.
Yeah.
Like we had that too. Like when Chris just wrote a song and we were all like, yeah, that's it, boom, we're done. That's the song.
Yeah.
But
and also
songs,
what I like to add, I'm sorry, but what I wanted to add also is like we've got a couple of like collaborators on the album, like Marcus from Throne is on the album. Like that's the feature part that's on the album. But a lot of our friends and like just different like contributed different parts to the album. Like the whole EDM influence is from certain people, and like we had people write with us, and like we have a female vocalist who is featured on, or like who contributed the female vocals on the self-titled track. So there's really a lot of people who contributed to the whole thing, and we're just basically like a lot of times we were just like having an idea and looking for the best way to execute that. So that played a part in the whole writing as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it seems like Half Me is not just a band, but from what you told me about this album, it almost seems like to be an entire community.
Yeah. It's a collective.
Yeah. It's a whole agency working for us.
Damn right. Damn right. Combined with a rising empire, you guys are indestructible. You guys will be unstoppable. Yeah.
Joint forces.
But when it comes to the overall writing, whether it will be for the music or the lyrics and stuff, is it better when you're all in the company of each other, or do you all prefer to write more alone in isolation when there's nothing in between you and your instrument, or nothing between you and the pen and paper?
I think that's the best way to do it. The normal process we have is like I draw a rough like frame of the song and send it to the guys. They say if it rocks or not, have their comments, and then we together work around it and work through it. The best songs came together when Chris and me worked on those rough frames. But I think it would be chaotic to have everyone in one room and write a song. I don't think that would work out.
Of course.
Because every impulse is just directing it to a different direction, and I think that would be a nightmare.
Yeah. And as for you, Chris, Z, with the lyricism that's involved too, and you need to be more alone, right? And is there a specific place you have to go to write lyrics, and does inspiration strike at rather inconvenient times for you as well?
Kind of depends, I guess. Like there's just phrases that come to my mind when I'm literally in the shower or something, and then like when I really know that I have to get to it, I just like put out all the lights, sit in a dark room, and yeah, that's kind of the mood that I try to get into. Like just listening to the songs over and over again. Just like I think there's something in the repetitiveness. Like when you jam this dry demo, I would say, like 20 times, and you kind of become like, God damn, and nothing's coming. Like I've been at the point where I've been like frustrated that there's like nothing really just flowing, and then it really evolves into this whole acceptance thing, and then it starts flowing. Then I start pouring it out onto the paper or literally onto the notes app on my phone.
And and d- when it comes, it's sometimes you are working on a song for days or weeks, months on end in a way. So do you find it like for both of you that maybe the longer you work on something, the harder it is to sort of capture a moment, or is that not even really something you're trying to achieve within Half Me?
I think it's still a mystery I want to solve, because sometimes there's a song I write in a means of, I think, 6 hours, and it's done. It's perfect. I think just backings and effects and stuff are going to change, and it's done. But other songs, like the self-titled song, they sometimes take years to finish, because you have it like in your pocket, you hear it over and over again, and after like 2 months you hear certain parts, as Chris said, so many times that you kind of lose the connection to it, and you want to change it, and then you change it, and it messes up everything else, and you kind of have to battle perfectionism like a lot of times. But I don't think we are a band that wants to try to capture a moment with this song. I think it's more like we want to catch a feeling, and that doesn't have to be just done in 2 hours of writing. I think a lot of songs we have on the album involved a lot of work and a lot of hours, and we're proud of that. And I think that's cool. It is the way it is.
100%.
And also, like, what I would like to add to the whole creating a moment aspect, because I find it interesting. Because when I listen to music, like there's different moments that mean a lot to me, but don't necessarily mean a lot to others. So when we show, like, we have like kind of like an inner circle, I would say, for like the songs we write. And mostly when we show our songs to different people, they're like, yo, this part at 1 minute 20, this is a moment, you know? And the other guy is like, no, that like a whole different part is this moment, like that I want, like that I like or something. And I think that is very fascinating to me, because you can like try to be artsy as much as you want, but in the end, like the listener decides what part of the song makes it a good song for them, you know?
100%.
So
which I think is an argument for just doing what you like, and not like trying to prove a point, or to have this mega moment that everyone will love, and then just try to make music that you like. And if you like it and a lot of people like it, I think that's the sweet spot.
Absolutely. And
yeah, but I assume there's definitely artists that write like that. There's artists for both camps, I would say. So
yeah, and capturing a moment in a song. I mean, a song could be, however long the song is. If a song is 3.5 minutes, every second of that is a moment in itself as well. So
yeah,
capturing a moment. There's no such thing as a song that captures a moment. It captures hundreds of them. So
that's true.
yeah. But going back to what you said about how a listener can decide, like what the best part is or whatnot. If a this kind of goes back to the story and the concept to this album that I asked earlier. But if a listener has their own interpretation of it and their own idea, do you think that could add another layer of meaning or add another layer of context to the material?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like definitely. I've been jamming Underoath for such a long time, and I found my own like meaning in it. And I just like years after I started jamming them, I found out that they're a Christian band. I never had that touching point with them where I was like, oh, they're like actual Christians. But it didn't matter to me, and it doesn't really matter now, because like the music they've created for me is still like the music that has this meaning that I kind of gave it when I listened to it, and that's what I hope for listeners when they listen to Soma experience as well.
I never understood that concept, Christian band, because okay, Under Oath, Norma
Yeah,
Jean, Devil Wears Prada, they're all metalcore bands and they're labeled as Christian bands, but Skillet and Disciple and who else? Red, they're considered Christian bands too. So like, I mean, Tom Araya from Slayer is a devout Christian. I would never call Slayer a Christian band. So
yeah.
Yeah. It's just another subgenre, I think, to have a community like feel drawn to it. I think that's my explanation for it.
yeah.
To have like a specific characteristic that draws people to it.
Yeah. I think Christian metalcore is just as good as satanic black metal in a way. And I would like to see,
Yeah,
I would
sure.
love to see, they need to make a festival called the Holy War where they have like Christian metal bands and black metal bands
Yes.
side stage.
Yes.
So like,
Two stages at the same time.
yep.
Yeah.
So have Behemoth and Watain playing at the same time as Skillet and Under Oath.
Yeah.
Oh my god. We might be onto something. We might be onto
Like
something.
facing each other.
Yeah, exactly. So before we go, I want to thank you both so much for your time, for such an excellent conversation, and most of all, thank you for an excellent album to add to this amazing year of 2023. Just so with the release of Soma, is there anything else with Half Me that you would like to promote in terms of tours or videos or any other new music we could be expecting? What are the plans for 2023?
Playing a ton of shows, mostly in Europe for the start. But yeah, just listen to Soma, tell us what you think, smash some heads on our live shows. That's
Yeah.
what you want.
Anything you want to add, Chris Z?
There's nothing really to add. Like, let us know what you think of the album, really, because we're really curious and we really want to like listen to what people have to say about it. We love feedback. We love when people just send us a message.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really appreciate it. Thank you guys so much, everybody. Chris H and Chris Z of Half Me. Be sure to check out Soma coming out very soon. This is Alex from Heavy New York, and we will see you next time.